Now it's time for OK Stop. We'll roll a clip and the panel can say OK Stop at any point to comment. Nancy Pelosi is the highest ranking woman ever elected to office in the history of the United States and second in line to the presidency. Kellyanne Conway is a former pollster who spends all day bullshitting for racist con man she hoped would lose to Ted Cruz. So of course, Kellyanne expects Nancy Pelosi to treat her like an equal. But it didn't play out that way after Conway's boss, Donald something, abruptly stormed out of a meeting with the speaker. Let's take a listen as Kellyanne Conway tells Fox News her side of the story.
What happened in the White House yesterday? You were there and actually had an exchange of words with the speaker yourself.
I did, and all these ridiculous stories. The president was in a rage, he's fuming, he stormed out, temper tantrum. There was none of that. He actually never raised his voice. He came in, stood at the end of the table in the cabinet room outside the Oval and said, look, folks, I want to do infrastructure.
Okay, stop. That's exactly, I'm sure, how it sounded. Look,
I want to do infrastructure.
Kelly is like Kellyanne. Sorry, I don't mean to be disrespectful. First of all, I do feel like she has turned her look up, and I am a little excited about that.
I'm glad you said that.
We finally got a statement necklace that's like I wouldn't wear, but like my aunt might.
Right. TJ Maxx realness.
Exactly,
She's
yep.
a Maxxinista.
Speaker Pelosi went on and launched into some odd, self-curated history of infrastructure in our country. She talked about Thomas Jefferson, then she got to Teddy Roosevelt.
Okay, stop. Oh. For those listening at home, she was performing what it was like when she was bored in the meeting by showing us a watch check during this interview.
And I bought it. I believed it. I believed every moment of it.
Was she watch checking to Teddy Roosevelt? Like, ugh, not Teddy.
Exactly.
again.
Every time someone brings up Teddy, I'm like, oh, are we done? You know?
So when she was finished, I said, respectfully, Madam Speaker, would you like to address some of the specifics the president talked about? And she said, I talk to the president, I don't talk to staff.
Okay, stop. You can take this.
In her own transcript of the conversation, he said nothing before he left.
Also, not a good impersonation of Nancy. I don't know. It's like we all know how Nancy sounds, and it's rich and shaky.
Because let's face it, she's the sixth most rich member of Congress. She treats everybody like they're her staff. She treats me like I'm either her maid or her driver or her pilot or her makeup artist.
Okay, stop.
Her pilot? Like, that's just staff everyone has.
Kellyanne Conway really is such a villain. You know who agrees? Nah, he doesn't really agree. We don't know what he thinks, but he's definitely closer to agreement than she would like, her husband.
Yeah.
And I don't want to judge a marriage. We don't know what goes on when those doors are closed, but we do know that when she thinks she's off the record, she insults her own husband, and he takes to Twitter every single day to say that Donald Trump shouldn't be president, and that has got to be lonely. So I get why she's lashing out. But it doesn't change the fact that Nancy Pelosi doesn't have to talk to you if she doesn't fucking want to talk to you. And when she says, I don't talk to you, I talk to the president, that's because she's the Speaker of the motherfucking House.
And I said to her, how very pro-woman of you, per usual, because she's not very pro-woman. She's pro-some woman, a few woman.
I'm actually speechless. It's like, out of all people in all administrations who are trying to roll back everything that has to do, there are people walking around with real live Handmaid's Tale robes every day. And she's like, no, we're pro-woman. I'm just confused.
Before we go, you see, someone raised Kellyanne's little diatribe in a press conference with Speaker Pelosi, and she did respond, and I thought it would be a nice palate cleanser. Let's take a look.
Kellyanne Conway made a remark to you at the end of the meeting. She's apparently expanded on her remarks.
I'm not going to talk about that. I responded as the Speaker of the House to the President of the United States. Other conversations people want to have among themselves is up to them. Yes.
I fucking love that. I love her hand motion in the video, which I would encourage anyone listening to look up, because she basically, her arm goes so high, both to like put Kellyanne Conway in a grave, but it's also like, here's where I'm at, Speaker of the House. This is the president. And then her hand goes down and out to just be like, and whatever other conversations people want to have, they can have. But I'm Nancy Pelosi. I don't give a fucking shit.